Right now, there are 7 things going through his mind that he will never say out loud, not because he doesn't love you, not because he's hiding some secret life, but because the moment he says them, he thinks he'll look weak, needy, or too much. So he stays quiet, keeps it locked away, and acts like everything is normal. And you're left guessing, trying to read between the lines, wondering what's really going on behind his calm face. But by the end of this video, you won't have to guess anymore, because I'm going to hand you all 7, one by one, slowly and clearly. And the last one is so powerful that once you understand it, you'll never look at him the same way again. So stay with me, don't rush through this, don't skip, because number 4 is the one that surprises almost every woman who hears it, and number 7 changes everything. Let's be honest about why you clicked. You saw the word dirty, and part of you expected something scandalous, maybe a little embarrassing to admit you were curious about, and that's completely okay. Curiosity is human, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to know what goes on in his head. But here's the twist I want you to sit with for a second. The truly dirty things men secretly crave aren't the ones you're picturing. They're not physical at all. They're emotional. They're psychological. They live in the quietest, most guarded corners of his heart, tucked away where no one else can reach. The places he doesn't show anyone, not his friends, not his family, sometimes not even you. And those are the desires that actually hold your relationship together or quietly pull it apart over time. So take a breath, get comfortable, settle in, and let me pull you into a conversation most women never get to have. Because by the time we're done, you're going to understand him better than he understands himself. Here's something no one really teaches women. Men are trained from the time they're little boys to hide certain feelings. Don't cry, don't need too much, don't be soft, be the rock, be the provider, be the strong one who never cracks under pressure. So over the years, all those tender wants, the ones he actually has deep down, get buried underground, layer after layer. He learns to want things in silence. He learns to crave connection while pretending he's completely fine on his own, even when he isn't. And that's exactly why these 7 secrets stay hidden. Not because he doesn't feel them, but because saying them out loud feels risky to him, almost like exposing a part of himself he was taught to protect. What you're about to hear is the backstage path to the male mind, the stuff he'd never confess over dinner, no matter how close you are, the stuff that, once you understand it, gives you a kind of quiet power most women never find in their whole lives. So here's how this works. 7 secrets, and they build on each other. Each one goes a little deeper than the last, peeling back another layer. I'll walk you through them slowly, gently. No judgment, no shame, no pressure. Some of these you'll recognize instantly and think, oh my gosh, that's exactly what he does. Others might catch you off guard completely, and I'll be honest with you now. Number 4 is the one most women completely misread, and number 7 is the one that ties everything together perfectly. So relax. You don't need to take notes, just listen, let it wash over you, and let's begin with the first thing he secretly wants, even though he'd never ask for it. Here's the first one, and it surprises a lot of women when they really hear it. He wants to be chased. Not chased in a desperate way, not some over-the-top display, and definitely not you throwing yourself at him. But he aches quietly, deeply, to feel wanted, to feel like you chose him on purpose, like you'd cross a crowded room just to be near him. See, somewhere along the way, society told women that men always have to be the ones who pursue, the ones who text first, plan the date, make the first move every single time. And so men learn to expect that role, to play the part without complaint. But underneath that role is a man who is secretly starving to be the one who gets picked for once. Think about it. When was the last time you walked up to him out of nowhere and told him you wanted him? Not needed him to fix something, not needed him to take out the trash. Wanted him? Most women can't remember. And here's what happens in his mind when you do it. He plays it cool. He might even act a little surprised, maybe brush it off with a joke. But inside, something lights up that he didn't even know had gone dark. Because for once, he's not the one doing the reaching. He's the one being reached for. That feeling of being desired without having to earn it, without having to perform, is something he craves far more than he'll ever admit. And the beautiful part is the smallest gesture does it. A look, a hand on his back, a whispered, "I've been thinking about you all day." You don't have to overhaul anything. You just have to let him feel chosen. chosen. But if this one surprised you, the next secret is one that women accidentally get wrong almost every single day, and it might be quietly hurting him without either of you realizing it. You know the moment you ask him what's wrong and he says nothing, I'm fine. His jaw is tight, his shoulders are up around his ears, his voice is flat. He's clearly not fine, and anyone watching could see it. And most women do one of two things in that moment. They either believe him and back off completely, or they push hard and demand he open up right then and there. And both of those, believe it or not, miss what he's actually craving underneath. Because here's the secret. When a man says, I'm fine, and clearly isn't, a part of him is quietly hoping you'll see through it anyway. He wants to be caught. He wants to feel like someone in this world can read him without him having to spell it out. Because spelling it out feels like admitting weakness, and that goes against everything he was taught. But, and this is the delicate part, he wants to be caught gently, not interrogated, not cornered like he did something wrong. He wants you to come close and say something soft like, you don't have to talk about it, but I'm right here. That one simple sentence does something almost magical to him. It tells him he's safe. It tells him he can put down the armor for a while without being made to feel small or judged. And that safety is the thing that finally lets him open up. Sometimes hours later, sometimes the next day, sometimes only after a long, quiet drive. Men don't unlock under pressure. No matter how much you push, they unlock under safety. When you learn to hold space instead of forcing the door open, you become the one person he can truly relax around, the one place he doesn't have to be strong. And do you have any idea how rare that is for a man, to have even one place in the world where he can stop performing? That's what he secretly wants, more than almost anything else. Now, this next one is something women do without even thinking, a tiny shift in energy that can either draw him in or slowly push him away. Let me ask you something. When you do something for him, make his coffee, plan something for the weekend, show up for him when he needs you, does it feel like I get to, or does it feel like I have to? Because he can feel the difference, even if he never says a word about it. He can always feel the difference. And this is the third secret. A man secretly wants to feel like he's still your choice, not your obligation, not the guy you're with just because it's comfortable, or because leaving would be complicated and messy, or because it's simply what you do now out of habit. He wants to feel like if you had to choose all over again, from scratch with no history between you, you'd still walk straight toward him. Here's where relationships quietly lose their spark. It's not big fights. It's not dramatic betrayals. It's the slow slide from I want to into I have to, the affection that becomes routine, the kiss that becomes a habit instead of a moment. And he notices. He might not say it, but he feels himself becoming furniture in your life instead of the man you're crazy about. So the fix isn't grand gestures or big romantic surprises. It's energy, plain and simple. It's the difference between handing him his coffee while scrolling your phone without even looking up versus handing it to him and holding his eyes for one extra second. It's letting him catch you looking at him like he's still the one you'd pick out of everyone. That small shift tells him everything he needs to know. It says, you're not stuck with me, you're chosen by me on purpose today. And that feeling of being wanted on purpose again and again, day after day, is oxygen to a man. It keeps him coming back even when he can't explain why. Now we're moving into the deeper secrets, the ones that live even further beneath the surface, the ones most women never even come close to discovering. This next one is the secret that most women completely misunderstand, and it's the one I promised would surprise you. Ready? A lot of men secretly want you to take the lead, to be in charge, to make the plan, set the direction, decide what happens next, so that for once they don't have to carry that weight on their own shoulders. Now, I know that sounds backward. We're taught again and again that men want to be in control, that they want to be the leader, the decision maker, the one steering the ship at all times. And in a lot of areas, yes, he does. But here's what nobody tells you. Being the one in control all the time is exhausting, more exhausting than most women ever realize. He's making decisions at work all day. He's carrying pressure he never talks about, quietly, silently. He's constantly being asked to have the answer, to be strong, to figure it out over and over. And somewhere in there, he starts to secretly long for the relief of not being the one who has to lead, just for a little while, just for one evening. Imagine what it feels like for him when you say, "Don't worry about tonight. I've got it all planned. Just show up." Or when you take his hand and guide him somewhere without him having to think about the next step. Or when you make a decision with confidence and he gets to simply follow. No pressure, no second guessing. It feels like someone finally lifted a weight off his shoulders that he's been carrying for years. It feels like he can breathe again. And here's the part that matters most. Taking the lead isn't about being aggressive or bossy or taking something away from him. It's a gift, one of the biggest gifts you can give. It's you saying, "Let me carry this for a moment. You've done enough for today." When you learn to lead with warmth instead of control, you give him a kind of rest he can't get anywhere else. Not from his friends, not from his work, only from you. Now, this next secret is one of the most misunderstood of all, because most women think doing it will push him away, when it actually does the exact opposite, the complete opposite. Here's a quiet truth that took me a long time to fully understand. So many women shrink themselves in relationships without even noticing it. They soften their opinions, they laugh a little less loudly than they want to, they hide the weird, quirky, passionate parts of who they are, because somewhere along the way they learned that being too much would scare a man off, and so they hand him a smaller, safer, more polished version of themselves instead of the real thing. But here's the fifth secret. That's not the woman he fell for. He's secretly drawn to the real you. The you with strong opinions, the you who lights up talking about the thing you love, the you who laughs too loud and dances in the kitchen and says exactly what she thinks. That version of you has a magnetism that the shrunken version can never have. Because when you hide who you are, something goes flat in the connection. He feels it, even if he can't name it. It's like the color drained out of the room. He misses the spark, the realness, the aliveness of a woman who isn't performing. And when you let yourself be fully, unapologetically you, it gives him permission to be fully himself too. Suddenly you're not two people managing an image for each other. You're two real people actually connecting. That's what he craves. Not a perfect woman, a real one, the one who isn't afraid to take up space. And once you understand that, this next secret becomes even more powerful, because it's the one that quietly fuels everything a man does. Think back to the very beginning of your relationship. Early on, you probably looked at him like he could do no wrong. He'd tell a story and you'd hang on every single word, fully engaged. He'd fix something or figure something out and you'd look genuinely impressed, maybe even a little proud. And do you know what that did to him? It made him feel 10 feet tall. It made him want to be an even better man just to keep earning that look from you. Here's the sixth secret. He never stops needing that, not even years later. A man's deepest fuel is feeling like he still amazes the one he loves. Not the whole world, just you, only you. But here's what happens over time, slowly and quietly. Familiarity creeps in without you even noticing. You've seen him at his worst. You've seen him tired and grumpy and completely human. And slowly the admiration fades into the background of everyday life. It's not that you stop respecting him deep down. It's just that life happened, bills happened, routine happened. But he feels that fading, even if he never says a word about it, and it quietly deflates something inside him. So here's the beautiful, simple fix. Notice him, genuinely catch him doing something well and actually say it out loud. I love how you handled that. You're so good at this. I don't know how you do it. Watch what happens to a man when the woman he loves looks at him with real admiration again. The same look from years ago. He stands taller. He tries harder. He comes alive because you just reminded him that in your eyes, he's still that guy. And that one small moment of being noticed can reignite a man more than 100 grand gestures ever could. Now we've arrived at the final secret, and this is the one that ties all 6 of the others together. This is the one that changes everything. Here it is, the 7th and most powerful secret of all. He wants you to need him, but without ever losing yourself. And I know that sounds like a contradiction, so let me unravel it, because this is the paradox that most relationships get wrong. On one hand, a man wants to feel essential, needed, important. He wants to feel like he matters to you, like there's a space in your life that only he he feels like you genuinely want him there beside you, not just tolerate him out of habit, but need him in the best sense of the word. That's what makes a man feel like a man deep down. Feeling needed is one of his deepest drives, whether he admits it or not. And this is the part that most people miss completely, he doesn't want a woman who has no life without him. He doesn't want to be your entire world, your only source of happiness, the one thing holding you up, because that's not attractive at all. That's a weight, a heavy one. What he's secretly most drawn to is the balance, the middle ground that so few people ever find. A woman who is whole on her own, who has her own life, her own passions, her own steadiness, and who chooses to let him in anyway, on purpose, every day. Do you see how powerful that is? When you're complete by yourself, but you still reach for him, it tells him something incredible, something most men rarely hear. I don't need you to survive, but I want you here. And that's a choice I make every single day, over and over again. That's the most magnetic thing in the world to a man, because anyone can cling out of fear or loneliness. But a woman who is strong on her own and still opens her heart to him fully and freely, that's a woman he'll never stop chasing, no matter how long you've been together. And when you look back at the other 6 secrets, you'll notice they all point right here, to a woman who is confident enough to pursue him, safe enough to hold his heart, real enough to be herself, and whole enough to need him freely rather than desperately. So let's pull it all together, because when you step back, the 7 secrets tell one simple story. Underneath everything, under the tough exterior, under the I'm fine, under the silence, what a man craves most is emotional safety and genuine desire. He wants to be pursued, to be seen, to be chosen, to be given rest, to be met with your real self, to be admired, and to be needed by a woman who is whole. Notice what's not on that list. None of it is about being perfect. None of it is about looking a certain way or saying the perfect thing. It's all about connection, real human heart level connection. That's the dirty secret. Nobody tells you that the way to a man's deepest devotion was never physical at all. It was emotional the whole time. And now you hold that key. So here's what I want you to carry with you as you go. You don't have to change everything overnight, and you shouldn't try to. Pick one of these 7, just one that speaks to you the most. Try it this week and watch what happens between you. Because the smallest shift in how you show up can change the entire temperature of a relationship, sometimes in ways you never expected. That's the quiet power you've had all along, even if nobody ever told you. If this spoke to you, take a moment to sit with it, let it settle, and then come find the next video, where I reveal the things men never tell women about love, the ones they take to their graves without ever saying out loud. Because trust me, once you hear those, everything you just learned here will make even more sense. I'll see you there.